helping him accomplish or meet up with his purpose. I don't know if we're following close. The purpose which God created the woman was to solve a singular purpose, that the man was alone, therefore it is not good. So he created a byproduct of the man to give him comfort and help him meet up with his set purpose, which God has already committed into his hands. Now, when he created this woman, he gave everyone free will. It was a co-equal headship. The woman's opinion was as valid as the man's opinion. Do you understand? That was the first covenant that God established in the Garden of Eden. But keep in mind that why he created the woman, the purpose why God had to create the woman, was that she was to help the man meet his what? Purpose. Meet with what? Meet with what? His purpose. And help meet. Help meet, not a help mate, not a help partner, not a help companion. He say a help meet, MEET, meet that purpose that God has already, committed into the hands of the man. Now, but when he created the woman, he gave both the woman and the man what? The same power of what? Whatever he has saying is as valid as that of the man. Something happened with this power. The woman listened to more knowledge. She became wiser. She actually saw a different kind of knowledge, and she got that from the serpent and did what? Led Adam astray. If you read your Bible, the Bible say Adam was not deceived. He identified with his wife because of love. Do you understand me? Now, when she was the origin of the fall, based on she stepped out of where she's supposed to be. That was what brought about the fall. Now, after the fall is where you're actually interested in, because the first covenant was the covenant of co-equalship. Co-equalship in the sense that the woman's say is as valid as the man's say before the fall. Keep in mind as we go on, that the purpose God created the woman was for the purpose of help me. God did what? Equipped her with all that she needed, all the virtue that's needed for her to be able to help that man meet up with every purpose that God has actually called him to actually meet up with. All right, so that's that on that. So after the first covenant, we had the fall. Then after the fall in the Garden of Eden, when they ate the forbidden fruit and all of that, that was when the second covenant was established. What was the second covenant? When God came and asked him, "What is this that thou hast done?" Adam said, "It's the woman that you have given me that has beguiled me." He asked the woman, "What is this that thou hast done?" He said, "It's the is the serpent that beguiled me." Do you understand? Then the Lord actually established the second covenant by saying to the woman, "Because of this thing that thou hast done." All right. Because of this thing that thou hast done. Do you understand? He said, "In sorrow shall thou bring forth children." He said, "Thy desire shall be unto thy own husband, and he shall rule over thee." Now, this was where the second covenant was established, whereby the woman has to look up to the man for leadership. If you read in the book of Corinthians, it said the head of every man is Christ, and the head of Christ is God, and the head of the woman is the man. So this is God over man, man over woman, and woman over children. That is the hierarchy in God's book. Are we still together, please? It seems like please, if you can hear me, please signify. I need to actually know we are together here, please. If you can hear me loud and clear, signify. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so after the second covenant was established, that's where we know the hierarchy, that a woman's role, according from God's standpoint. Why I'm doing this is, I said first is self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing your role. It should help tailor everything that you ought to be as a woman. Knowing who you are, knowing your role, knowing what God's expectations of you is, it will help you like in okay. Let's slow down. Now, self-awareness. So after that second covenant was established, it didn't change the fact that the purpose that which the woman was created was to still be an helpmate. It only put her in the place where she has to be under leadership. She can no longer lead the man. She can no longer lead the man. That's according to God's standard. Even in, I think, in the book of Corinthians, yeah, when he said, in the all churches of the saints, let your women learn in silence, for it is not permitted unto her to speak. Do you understand? If she will learn anything, let her ask her husband at home. That's in the New Testament. I just showed you the standard of God from the book of Genesis, bringing it to the New Testament. It did not change. So according to God's book, according to God's book, a woman is supposed to actually be under a man. That's the first thing. Secondly, now that you have known that beside your purpose is actually to serve beside the man, or follow the leadership of a man, or be in subjection of the man. Is that all there is to you? What about your virtues? That thing that you were equipped and you were supposed to carry to be able to help the man meet that thing? Because God will not just create you and not and give you a job to do, and not be able be and not equip you with it. Do you understand? So what exactly is that? Those value, is it that when her role changed, does that mean when the second covenant was established, does that mean she no longer is supposed to serve as in the place of helpmeet? No. The original intention that God actually created her is for the purpose of helpmeet. Do you understand? Now she's doing it from a place of submission. Do you understand? Now, the fall shows or prove to us that when woman comes into power, it changes a lot of things. But that's by the way. So, like I said, awareness, self-awareness, knowing who you are according to what God's own standard. This is one way to look at it. Moving ahead, what if a woman is not sure what her role is supposed to be? The society is definitely going to give her something to work with. So that's why that's where you see a lot is happening among in the society today, where we have moves like feminism and all of that. The society would always give you something to run with. Now, if you're following God's standard, meaning you are going to actually be able to take God's word for your own guidance. You understand? So self-awareness, there are good example of women like this that knew their role and actually understood what their part is supposed to be. You understand? But after the fall, a lot happened. Do you understand? Coming down to the story of Queen Esther and the story of Vashti. Do you understand? Please, if you can hear me, please, I need to see reactions. I need to unmute your mic, let me hear your reaction. I need to know we are all following.
We can hear you, sir.
You can hear me loud and clear, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so there were good examples in the Bible, but before I go into the examples, there are qualities that the woman carries. Let me address that, touch on those things, so I would show you the woman that God intended, the woman that God created, and the woman that God intended from the beginning, and the women we have today. That's why God knew there was going to be a scarcity of such women. That's why he said, a virtuous woman who can find. He said her price is far more than rubies. He knew there was going to be a scarcity of that particular kind of women. Now, let's go back to the beginning again. If you see where after the second covenant was established, we saw that the cost that was upon the woman was the cost of, he said, in pain, in sorrow, or in pain shall thou bring forth children, and your desire shall be to the man, and he shall rule over thee. Thy seed shall bruise the head of the serpent, and he shall bruise his heel. But if you notice on prosperity, there is none of those effects on the woman. If a woman decides today that she wants to be lucrative, she wants to actually be great, she wants to prosper, there is nothing limiting her. Now, but let's go to the man now. When it was time to curse Adam, God said to him, he said, "Curse be the ground for thy sake." God did not curse Adam. He said, "Curse be the ground for thy sake." Meaning, he said, "In the sweat of thy face shalt thou do what? Eat of it thereof, and thorns and thistles will it bring forth." Meaning, after the fall, man was there's a particular cause on a man that he would have to struggle, have to toil before he succeed and provide for his home. Do you understand? That's actually what the second covenant brought. Now, you've heard the saying that said, behind every successful man, there is a woman. Have you ever thought about it? Behind every successful man, there is a woman. Behind every successful man, there is a woman. This is what it means. According to the standard of God, according to God's standard now, please, extending, I don't know, please mute your mic, please. I could hear myself echo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, according to God's standard, yeah, there is this particular, when God sets his principle in order in place, there is something is intended to accomplish. Mind you, we are doing self-awareness, knowing yourself, like knowing exactly what you were created for and the value you carry. Do you understand? There were certain things that actually the woman carries and the man lack after the second covenant was established. Cause be the ground for Adam's sake, meaning he will have to struggle to succeed. Am I right? He would have to struggle to succeed. But that curse is not upon the woman. The curse that is supposedly on the woman is, he said, "In sorrow or in pain shall she bring forth children. Her desire shall be to the man, and he shall rule over her." You see those particular things. If a woman decides that she wants to keep to that particular law of God, in other words, her desire shall be to the man, and she's willing to be in submission or under submission to a man. What happens is, automatically she's in God's good book. God book in the sense that what he intended before he created the woman, the woman is actually in where God has intended her to be. But when you see the one that cannot be told what to do, cannot be led, you're not actually just dealing with a man, you're dealing with God's principle. Hold on. But when you see a woman that is in subjection, a woman that has accepted her role and all of that, now that woman, if she says she wants to pursue any career, anything that has to do with prosperity, there is no law limiting her. That's why you see most of the areas where men strive, like in some careers, you see women come there and they do it as if it's nothing. Where men struggle, because there is nothing like that limiting them. Men actually have to struggle, to actually attain that height. But let me show you a mystery here. When a woman has accepted a role where God places her, understands, she's aware of who she is, she's in total submission to God's word and that of the man she's under. Listen, that woman has the right to go before God and do what? And actually call for blessing upon any man. Follow close. Upon any man that she is in perfect synchronicity with, a man that has actually showed her care, be it a father, be it a brother, be it a loved ones, be it her husband and all of that. She can go before God and say, "Oh Lord, this person is struggling. This person, Lord, bless him." And because she is in her place where God has placed her, God will honor that. That's why you heard the saying that behind every successful man, there is a woman. But you see that woman that has refused to actually obey God's standard, take God at his word. See, she's like a water in a man's blood. She doesn't do him good in his life in any way. She can't go before God and ask for anything and see results. This is God's standard. Now, it goes both ways. God's requirement is a woman's desire shall be to her own husband, and he shall rule over her. He's not supposed to be ill to her. He's not supposed to actually treat her as a doormat. He's not supposed to do all of those things. What he's supposed to do is love her. According to the book of Peter, when he said we should live with them according to knowledge, knowing that they are weaker vessel, love her, pamper her, take care of her. And when he's not seeing women as a subject and things that should be used and discard. You understand me? When he's not seeing women that are more trophy, these are trophy piece. I will use this one and dump this one and treat them anyhow. He has actually passed God's standard, because God is man was created in the image and likeness of God. Despite that, we are so ill, we treat God so illy, we don't take him at his word, we don't obey him most of the times and all of that. Yet he proved to us that he has love to give to us, that he had to come and lay his life down to us, to prove to us that even in our foolishness, he still loved us. That's what God expects from the man. Do you understand? Not to see the woman as a trophy piece where he can use and dump and all of that. But a woman he has chosen, love and treat her with maximum care and all of that. Now, these two people, when they find each other, the man is in God's where God expects him to be, and the woman is in where God expects her to be. She's aware of his role, and the man is also aware of his role. Now, when she calls for blessing upon this man, hey, that's saying that you say that, you hear people saying that, my wife this, my wife that. Behind every successful man, there is a woman. It is a woman that is aware of who she is. Are we still following? I hope I'm not boring you at this point. Please, if you're still with me, let me see your reactions. Let me see your reactions. If you're still with me, please unmute your mic. I want to hear people. Thank you very much. I want to hear your response.
Yeah, we see, sir.
We can hear you,
Yeah,
sir. Go on,
yeah,
sir.
we see, sir.
Are we still communicating? I hope I'm not boring you.
No,
You're
sir.
not, sir.
We're still following, right? All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
We're still dealing with self-awareness. What? Self-awareness, knowing who you are. It's not just knowing who you are as a person, where you hear people make cocky statements like, me, I know myself. Nobody can do it. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's about God kind of woman, setting priorities right, knowing who you are according to God's standard, what you were created for, what your purpose is, and all of that. Do you understand? So that's that on self-awareness. I would have gone into some certain things, but we're going to cover that as we proceed. This I needed to touch on understanding where your role is, what your role is, God intended role for you as a woman, so you will not try to usurp the position of a man. Listen, let me explain this again. When they say man, there are men out there that have accepted God's leadership, meaning God is able to lead them. If you find yourself a man that God can lead, then it will be in your own best interest to be able to stay under his leadership. Do you understand? So God lead him, he leads you, and with everything he gives you and provide, and all of that, the roadmap you use to actually guide and lead the children. That's God's hierarchy. Now, what if your own standard as a daughter of Zion is you are looking for Arukeli? He can sing like Arukeli, and he has broad shoulder. You are looking for Sissy Park. Your own criteria that you are looking for in a man or in a husband. He must be cute. He must be this. He must be that. Meaning you are not even interested if all this thing you're lining up, whether it meets the requirement that this person's head is Christ. You see, you might end up making the wrong call. When making the wrong call or making the wrong choice. When you make the wrong choice in a man that God cannot lead, let me explain to you what will happen. Even if God is leading you and all of that, you will find yourself struggling in a certain way whereby unconsciously you would want to be, let me use the term, want to be playing his role. Because it's you that God is leaving. Nothing concerning him and God. But you have already married him and you're supposed to be under subjection to him. So that's why it behooves everyone, daughters of God, daughters of purity. Please, now that you're coming into realization of who you are, what you carry, who your role in God, and what God's expectation of you is. Rewrite your compass when you're looking for a man to settle with. Those check boxes that you've already marked down as criteria for choosing a partner and all of that. Please rewrite it, check it. It's okay to actually want a fine guy, a tall one with beards and all of that. It's cool, but make sure the top of your list is if he's under God's leadership. Can God lead him? If God cannot lead him, he can definitely not lead you. Do you understand me? And give it time, you both will start struggling and fighting and all of that. Do you understand? So that's that on self-awareness. Are we all together? Please, before we move on to the next one, I want to hear our reactions and all of that. Let me see your reactions and all of that. If you have questions, I would suggest you write down your questions right now, please. If you have questions, note them down. If you have questions, please note them down. Are we together? If you have questions, please note them down. All right. So moving on to the second thing I have on my list, character development and discipline. Okay. I'm dealing with this particular column now as I'm addressing it to daughters of purity and God's kind of woman. Your first role as a daughter is to be actually taught right under a man, because it's still part and parcel of God's requirement. Do you understand? It means if there is a father in your life that pays close attention and all of that, you are to be taught what? Right. Properly grounded, properly rooted, and in the basic knowledge of how it should be. Because if you want to actually learn how to make dresses, you need to go learn from a tailor. If you need to actually learn how to cook good meal, you will need a chef. If you want to learn how to be a motor mechanic, you have to actually go learn under a motor mechanic. Do you understand? So as well, for you to actually learn how to be work under a man, or be under subjection to a man, or be submissive to a man, you actually need to learn that from a man. You need to be taught. You see, this thing where people do that, I'm trying to discover myself, rewrite my own part and all of that. It's good. But contrary to popular opinion, check the ratio, check the statistic, do your findings. Daughters that were properly, taught, brought up properly in the home where the father was present to guide her, to give her caution and all of that, they actually do way better in submission and all of that in that area than daughters that didn't have that available. If you agree with me, let me see your reactions, please. Let me see your reactions. If that makes sense, let me see your reactions. If you agree with me, let me see your reactions. Let me see your reactions. All right, thank you very much. All right, so why I'm saying this is character development and discipline. These are the next phase that while you're growing up, you are supposed to be taking cognizance of. You are supposed to actually be understanding yourself as you grow up, and be willing to actually listen to people. Listen to people. Take criticism. There are people that cannot even take honest feedback. For example, you did a certain things, or you spoke a certain way, and someone be like, I didn't expect you to talk that way or behave that way or did and all of that. Would you actually be able to accept that and process it? Or while you're listening to that, you're already listening to see how you would attack the person and make them feel stupid that in a way that they are not supposed to. Now, how character is developed, how character is built, it has to be intentional. A person that has zero discipline cannot even build a character that is worth a while over time. So key thing is be able to actually take honest feedback. There's this thing that we call blind spot. Blind spot are things in your life that you on your own, you can never see them. to you, you are just a person living and all of that. It has to take people that care about you, people that are close to you, that see that you talk a certain way, behave a certain way, that can, if dealt with it or probably addressed early, it will make you a better person and a better friend, a better sister, a better spouse, companion, and all of that. So in the process of character development, in the place of character development, discipline has to be your number one priority. How, when we talk about discipline, let's start from the basics. Some people actually wake up in the some persons will wake up in the morning and just believe that overnight they are just going to pick a character, and the next day they have gotten over. It doesn't work that way. Take for example, maybe you live alone. Take for example, making an outright decision that every morning, the moment you wake up from your bed, you have to set your bed before you do any other thing. Try that and see. And see how tedious it can be at times. That's for people that didn't have somebody to tell them. Maybe your mother said, the moment you leave that bed, dress it and all of that. Maybe it's something you were struggling with. Do you understand? Try it and see. You might try it you might not get it in the first 1, 2, 3 days. It's something that you intentionally want to do. The moment you wake up, you perhaps say your prayer and all of that. Make sure you set that bed before you do any other thing. These are basic. If you can get that right, like that, as little as setting your bed every day, if you can actually master that over time, it becomes part of you. That's the discipline that builds character. For example, you have an exam. Those of you in school, you have an exam. You know that this particular subject that you are supposed to be preparing for the exams, the time you put into study, the time you put into study and all of that is probably not enough, because you say, I'm tired and all of that. You would go into that exam and come out with stories. But perhaps if you were disciplined enough to stay with that book right there, like stay close enough with that book until what? Until you know that you've gotten to that point where it makes a whole lot of difference. Then you will know that this is enough. This is like valid enough to actually know that you've given your all to this book. When the results come out, it will be said, the result will prove that you gave your all and you came out with flying colors. What if you keep doing the wishy-washy thing that I'll just study a little, no wahala, and all of that? The result is what is going to actually tell you that you were not prepared enough for that exam. So character development has to do with underlining discipline. So if it's the way you talk, the moment a person points it out, you should look for people that can give you honest feedback in your life as a person. Like you should look for people. There should be people in your corner that you should ask, see, is there something you notice about me that needs working on? Is there something? And don't just take it from them that maybe it's because they don't like you, that's why they are giving you such feedback. Any feedback, be it from a drunkard, be it from, if somebody points something out that needs working on, think long enough on it, process it long enough to see that if you can put your discipline on that particular thing in developing that character, it adds to your value. It adds to you. I've never seen anybody that project, maybe they tell the person, maybe you should do this, you should work on this, and the person, smoked at it and all of that. I've never seen anyone that goes that way and grow at that particular thing. So your blind spot at things that you yourself might not be able to understand or know for yourself. But it has to take people that care about you to start with, people that have regards for you and all of that, to point them out. And most of the times it's not really easy. Most of the times it's not really a good experience, but you must be willing to do what? Be able to accept this, take honest feedback, and start processing on it intentionally. We've heard over time where we people say it's because I not have a father in my life, because I didn't come from this family, that's why I'm like this. Let me tell you, the moment you became an adult, the moment you grow above 18, you became an adult, you lost the right to actually complain about anything. Let me explain what I mean. Whatever should have been taught to you that you noticed that you lacked, you've noticed that you lack, and you are an adult now, it is valid. It is important that you go about it. Seek help, seek knowledge, read books, seek discipline, and get over it. Because I've noticed that most of the things we complain about that our parents didn't do for us, our people didn't do for us, and all of that. Most of those things, yeah. If we continue on that path long enough, our children, they are going to say the exact same things about us. Exact same thing. They are going to say the exact same thing about us. So if you notice, maybe someone told you or mentioned something about you, your character, a certain area of your life that needs working on and all of that, take honest feedback. Be able to take what? Honest feedback, and add discipline. Discipline is something that you do even though it's not convenient. Something that you do even though it's not, convenient at all. Do you understand me? So that's that on character development and discipline. Now the third on my list is where we're going to end this section tonight, and I don't think we'll be able to even handle questions tonight, but I want you to note down your questions. We only have two things to actually deal with by the sessions tomorrow, which is understanding purpose and acquiring virtue. How to be valuable. Those two things, we're going to deal with them. Then we're going to take every of your questions. Then we'll address them and all of that. So the third thing on my list now is what? Understanding purpose. Sorry, the ability to learn and unlearn. This one now, it's a lot. Most people don't even know that they are so rigid to the point that they can't even tell when they are being narcissists rather, in their way of living. Become so stereotyped that you can't even learn something new. Now, for a woman, for a lady, is one of the if not the only character that I mean, man, I've had conversations with a lot of people. I've been on webinars. I've had counseling sections and all of that. One of the most nauseating things that is above average it ranks above average in what men detest in women is a woman that cannot learn. A woman that cannot unlearn what they have known to actually learn new things. You see that particular character, hey God, it's as worse. See, a person can be beautiful, a lady can be beautiful and all of that, but the moment you possess that particular character, it's awful. It's ugly in so many all ramification. So this is important that you understand this. That the moment you understand that there are things in your life that you need to learn and unlearn, employ discipline into it, so you'll be able to actually grow and add virtue to yourself. You'll be able to actually add more virtue to your own already set character. Do you understand? Being able to learn and unlearn stuff. Learn and unlearn stuff. I don't care how many years you actually learn about it. It has been like that. I have this saying that I say that for the fact that the thing works doesn't mean it cannot be improved. So for the fact that it has been working over the years doesn't mean it cannot be made better. It doesn't mean that it's the end of it all. So please, check yourself. When a person points out something, be deliberate about it, be intentional about it. There is a flaw that a friend of yours saw, say, there's this thing with you that I don't really like the way you smell. Sorry, that's a lot to say to people. Many people don't appreciate it, but it has to take someone that actually like you to be able to point that out. Instead of getting angry, instead of feeling like, why would they talk to me like that and all of that, find reasons how you'll be able to smell better. Perhaps get roll-on, get recommendation, things that work for you and all of that. This is how you add value to yourself. There's this thing that people that have, awesome, awful body odor, like, sometimes you don't even know how to tell them. Is it that they don't know? Is it that they've told them before and they couldn't take it? So all of these things actually plays a vital role. So being able to having the ability to learn and unlearn stuff, gives you an added edge to growth. Gives you an added edge to actually grow. So these are key things that we need to actually understand and on this journey. So self-awareness as a daughter of God's kind of woman, setting priorities right, is understanding first the purpose God created you. Why were you why did he create you as a woman? He didn't actually put you here to be a fine girl, a slave queen and all of that. There is an expectation, there is a purpose God actually created you. Understand your purpose, understand your role, understand where you function. then you will understand that indeed there is why I was created. So when you fall into God's category of what God is expecting, it actually changes everything. You understand? So character development and discipline, the ability to learn and unlearn stuff. You see these three things, combine them together and see. Give yourself time. Be intentional, if possible. Anybody that you see that has some doesn't have any ulterior motive towards you or anything, that can be real with you. Ask things that they feel they feel your life you could be make better. You might be surprised that there are people that are close to you that they know that they can't tell you this thing because of the way you react. They know they cannot actually point this thing out to you because you might either get angry or try to look for a way to actually make it about them and all of that. So the ability to learn and unlearn stuff gives you an added edge. Do you understand? Thank you very much for this time. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. I appreciate the host, Lydia, for giving me this chance to be able to actually talk to the daughters of purity. And I really value every one of you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to address you all. I hope I've not bored you with this session. I hope it's a blessing to you. I hope whatever happened after now, I hope this is a stepping stone for being better. So I'll see you again the same time tomorrow. We're about running out of time now on the webinar section now. So I'll hand over to the moderator, Lydia, so to carry on from here now. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time tomorrow. So please write your questions down after tomorrow's section. Tomorrow's section will actually deal with key things, the last two in my notebook, and after that we take questions and deal with them for before we actually call it a wrap on the webinar. Thank you very much once again for having me here. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. We really do appreciate. Can we celebrate him, please? Can we celebrate him? Can we celebrate him? Thank you so much, sir. Can you hear your thank you? Can we say thank you, sir? Thank you, sir. We are
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Hope we are blessed. Hope we are blessed, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then pen down all your questions. Tomorrow is going to be incredible. Pen down your questions so that you can ask your question. Also, we have an apostle in our midst. Can we celebrate Apostle Emmanuel Kojo in our midst? Please, can we celebrate him? Can we celebrate him? He has been with